Welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to be working on my 69 Chevelle. It's got an LSA Supercharger on an 02 LS1. Today I'd like to wrap up the heat exchanger plumbing and get the system all topped off with coolant. Main issue I've had with this is the pump will get airlocked and not push coolant through the system, which is not good when you're running boost. Air intake temperatures get very hot and the heat exchanger is there to help cool them down. So I'd like to get that taken care of. As always, like and subscribe and leave comments down below. Let me know what you like. If you think what we're doing here is good, bad, ugly, leave a comment. Let's get started. Remember, always keep your receipts so you can be depressed on how much money you have in your cars. Alright, so I have my expansion tank here for my heat exchanger plumbing. We're going to come out of the bottom of it right here with that 45 AN fitting. Move my pump down about 1.5 inches to the bottom of that bracket right there to straighten this line out here a little bit so it's not so hard of a kink, and then I'll tap a T in right here, go through the frame here to pick up to that expansion tank. I think it'll help having the water right at the pump coming out of the expansion tank for filling it up rather than trying to bleed all the air out of it. It's been the problem I've had so far with this, is getting air out of the system. So we just keep adding things, trying to make it work. It's all a little homemade and rigged up, so it's a learning process. All right, so I was a little worried I might have burned up the pump running it dry, trying to get the air locks out of it. So we're gonna test it. I got my Makita battery here. These things seem to be pretty temperamental about being airlocked, so looks like it's pumping just fine. So that's good, don't have to buy a new one of those. Alright, so here's a Bosch pump assembly out. I'm going to try to figure some other way to unghettoify that, because I don't have any way to adapt the pump nipple to the braided hose. This aluminum block right here, I sandcasted that myself. It's pretty porous, but it turned out pretty good. Machined that on the drill press again. Made it of beer cans and soffit fascia material I had laying around. So yeah, I'm going to tap in right here with the T to go off and up to the expansion tank. So that's the plan. Alright, we got the heat exchanger pump assembly and the lines all blown apart here. What I need to do is have this T, the center of that T, sit about 4 inches off of this pump, so it'll sit about right there. My plan for attaching it to the pump itself, because I don't have a better way to do it to connect it to these ANs yet that I've found, is to take standard AN hose end, straight hose end, take the nut off that locks the hose in place, cut that tapered edge off of there, and just use a chunk of 5/8 heater hose. It fits really well in there, and then push it onto that nipple there. Either hose clamp it or use some of that heat shrink hose clamp to help clean it up a little bit. Alright, so the way these AN fittings work is this is a reverse threaded end on here. So you want to make sure you have a good cleaned edge on there, it's not all frayed out. This is cut from last time, it still has tape on it, so I'm just going to use that end. Be careful to peel the tape off so it doesn't fray anymore. And just going to kind of make sure I work all of that into the fitting itself so there's no wires hanging out, and then just push it and turn it. And keep going until you get it bottomed out all the way inside there, and you can see the rubber right at the bottom of the threads there. That is good to go then to install the barb side of the fitting. And to do that, we're going to need some lube. Alright, I'm back with my lube. Just found some engine assembly oil. I'm just going to use that. It was handy. Put a little bit on there. Lube it up real good. That keeps the fitting itself from galling and helps it slide into the rubber. So you just simply stick it in there and start turning it, tightening it down. One good tip that you want to always do is take a Sharpie and mark right there where the hose is at on the fitting, or take a piece of electrical tape or any sort of tape really. Oh, come on here. And just stick it right on the end there, so you can make sure that this isn't walking off as you tighten this down, because if it does walk off, it won't make a good bite and good connection in there, and you'll have a hose failure, which is something you don't want to have. Okay, you don't have to use a vise. I like to, it just makes it easier to hold it. So, and I don't have any soft jaws, so I just use a rag to wrap around there. You can use a piece of wood, just something a little softer than the aluminum to kind of help protect it. So I'll get it clamped in there, making sure I can see my tape line there just to make sure it's not pushing out. And make sure you got a good amount of lube on there so that it doesn't get a bunch of friction with the hose and cause it to bind up, and also help the threads from galling. And it's just a matter of cranking it down, holding onto the hose and checking it, making sure it doesn't start twisting with it or push out. Because again, if it pushes out, you're going to have a weak connection, a bad fitting, and the last thing we want is to have a hose failure. Looks good, staying where it's supposed to. Lube is the key here. Keep it slippery. You don't have to have them bottomed all the way out either. I'll get it close and then just line up the flats so it looks like a nice smooth fitting. There you go. Tape didn't move any. You can peel that off and toss it. Got a good strong fitting. Take it over to the car, get it fitted, figure out how long we need it, and cut it. All right, a couple different options to cut this. Just clamp it up in the vise. You can use a cutoff wheel like this, or I like to use the Portaband. Line it up on your mark, which you know is about the middle of the tape, and don't forget to put a battery in it. Makes a nice clean cut, doesn't throw stuff everywhere. I just like to use it. I think I just got assembly lube on me. All right, stopped in and saw our friends over at Speedway Motors today. Picked up some heat shrink hose clamp. Super cool product. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Maybe I'll post a link to this in the description. Super nice way to make everything look really clean. I got the proper T we need, and then I got an AN male-to-male coupler, because I think I'm going to get rid of our old filler neck that's in there. Oh, and I finished making up our little hose, so that's what it looks like all done. Okay, so here's the heat exchanger pump system all redone with the new T and the line in there. This one will run up to the expansion filler neck, and then this one over here runs over to another water tank that's mounted in front of the front tire for a little more volume of water in the system. Like a dummy, I didn't measure this and just guessed on the size of the heat shrink hose clamps and got the wrong size, so I'll have to go back and get the right ones in the morning. Okay, swung by Speedway this morning, picked up the proper size heat shrink hose clamps, and we're going to get those fired up and put on with the heat gun. So let's get to it. All right, here's the completed heat exchanger pump system with the Gates power grip heat shrink clamps on there. They work really good. I think it looks a lot cleaner than having the hose clamps on there, and I think this system should work really well. So let's get it put on the car. All right, we got the pump all hooked up and coolant in it. It's running now. It's been running for about 5 minutes. So far, so good. No leaks. The only issue I ran into is my wire's about 2 inches short now since we lowered the pump down, so I got to extend that. Can hear fluid running into the tank and going back to the pump. So we got it going all the way around through the system. Ended up having to take this filler neck out that was up here. Just wasn't, it was pointless. It wasn't doing anything. It was just spraying coolant out everywhere. So got rid of that. Now that I have that expansion tank filler neck there, should be good to go. It's moving coolant through the lid, so everything seems to be working as it should. Pretty happy with it. Can't wait to get out and beat on it this summer and see how it works. See if it helps keep some of that heat out of the intake.